Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to present to you General Heyshel.
Thank you very much, Senator, for your very kind comments, and thanks to each of you for your very warm reception. To those of you in Camp Ashraf, I say, Salam Alaikum, greetings. It's always tough to follow President-elect Rajavi because when she finishes, there's very little left to say. But it is great to be here with you, with President-elect Rajavi, and with my distinguished colleagues on the dais here today. Today, time is of the essence. That I stood here in Paris almost 7 months ago and outlined the reasons why the United States should delist the MEK from the Foreign Terrorist Organization list. It was an easy decision then. It's an easy decision now, based on the facts. Yet today, I'm sad to say that America's lethargic State Department still has not made the decision, even as Camp Ashraf faces a very dangerous and potentially life-threatening situation. Allow me for just a few minutes today to review with you the facts. You've heard many come from President-elect Rajavi, but fact number one, even the current terrorist exporting Iranian regime has trouble articulating why the MEK should be on the Foreign Terrorist Organization list. Recently, as you know, they tried to blame the attack on the Saudi ambassador in the United States on the MEK, only to have the State Department defend the MEK. That's how desperate that Iranian regime is. Fact number two, the D.C. Court of Appeals ruled that the Department of State had actually broken the law by placing the MEK on the FTO list because they had failed to allow the organization due process. We all know that Secretary Clinton has not complied with the court ruling. That court ruling was produce evidence. And she hasn't replied because there is no evidence to produce. Fact, over 30 very senior former U.S. government officials, bipartisan, actually a bipartisan coalition, non-parochial if you will, have publicly supported the MEK's removal from the FTO list. That should be noted because whenever you get anything that's non-parochial in Washington, D.C., you've accomplished a major feat. Not only that, but these are individuals that are of great integrity, great ethics, who passionately believe and support the MEK because they believe in the cause. They're individuals like the former Attorney General of the United States, Mulcahy, the former Director of our Federal Bureau of Investigation, Louis Freeh. There are 4 governors, 2 of which are here with us today. There are a whole host of general officers, all of whom have great integrity. I know them personally and would only support the MEK if they believed that the cause was just and that the MEK did not belong on the FTO list. You and I know that the MEK should not have been placed on the list, and we all know it should be taken off immediately. A fact. We, the United States, disarmed the residents at Camp Ashraf in 2003. And in doing that, we guaranteed them protection under the 4th Geneva Protocol. It was a commitment. It was a promise that we made. And that commitment and promise has not changed, although we have turned the territory over to the Iraqi government. A fact, in April of this past year, we stood by and watched the massacre that took place in Camp Ashraf, although we had commanders and troops in near proximity to the camp. That was in spite of our promise. It was in spite of our commitment. It was in spite of those military forces being nearby. We did nothing to protect them, and I'm ashamed to say that. Fact, the U.S. government continues to provide the Iraqi government with billions of dollars in U.S. aid. And to say that we do not have the means to influence the Iraqi government just because we don't own the territory is an outright fabrication of the truth. The truth is, there are many tools in America's kit bag, tools that we can use. They're diplomatic, political, economic, military, informational, whole host. And the economic tool is a big one. The U.S. still has that powerful economic tool, and President Obama should have the political courage to use it. Today, another fact, the Iranian government is the most dangerous terrorist exporting nation in the world today. We saw that Secretary of Defense Panetta recently told the Iranians to quit meddling, to quit interfering in U.S. operations worldwide. Most recently, as I said earlier, they were responsible for the attack on the Saudi ambassador right under the State Department's nose in Washington, D.C. A fact, 2 different bipartisan U.S. congressional resolutions have been sent to Secretary Clinton asking her to remove the MEK from the list. Another fact, Mrs. Rajavi, your charismatic and fearless MEK president-elect, has a 10-point program which, when implemented, will provide the citizens of Iraq with the same basic freedoms enjoyed by all democratic societies worldwide. And they will free the Iranians from the tyranny of the current Iranian regime, the theocratic and autocratic regime that the Iranian people are forced to live under today. Fact, the MEK, unlike many other organizations, needs only an acknowledgement from the U.S. government that they are a legitimate organization, an acknowledgement that has already been made years ago by the EU and by the United Kingdom. These are clearly undeniable facts that surround the MEK organization, and to me make it so obvious that they should not have been placed on the list to start with and should be taken off the list this very moment. I'll leave you with actions that I think are required. First and foremost, the U.S. must remove the MEK from the foreign terrorist organization list. This is critical, since, as we all remember, the Iraqis used the terrorist label as an excuse to justify their April attack. The U.S. must tell Maliki and the Iranian government to stop interfering, and we must use that powerful economic tool again to demand that the UN place a full-time monitoring force at Ashraf to protect the citizens until a proper resolution of their disposition can be made. Third, the U.S. and the EU must push the UN Secretary General to notify Maliki that he cannot close the camp until the UNHCR has completed its work on behalf of the Ashraf residents. Fourth, President Obama must show the political courage to use the United States' economic tool to demand that the Maliki government honor the United States' commitment to protect the citizens at Ashraf, even in the face of Iranian pressure to the contrary. And unless Maliki agrees to honor his commitments, then his scheduled 12 December visit to the White House should be canceled. And everyone must remember that we have a very, very narrow window within which to accomplish these actions, or there will be blood on our hands. We must make sure, for the sake of mankind, that it does not happen. Thank you very much.